Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we jump into this video, I would love if you liked this video and subscribed. It would mean so much to me, and if you turn on that bell notification, you will get notified whenever I post a new video. So for today's case, we are actually going to be talking about Tara Grant. So Tara was a college student at Michigan State University when she met another student, and his name was Stephen Grant. And the two hit it off right away. They were friends for a while. Tara had a boyfriend up north, so nothing happened between them. Eventually, the two got together and they fell in love. Tara ended up moving into Grant's apartment. Grant eventually dropped out of college to work for a former state senate. And it was 1994. He was looking for another job, but he just couldn't find anything. He ended up going and working with his father, and his father owned a tool and die shop in Mount Clemens. Stephen and Tara ended up getting married in September of 1996, and in the beginning, it wasn't super easy for them. They were struggling financially, and Stephen was still trying to find some sort of government job, and he wasn't having any luck. Tara ended up getting a job in what would now be known as the Washington Group. She, over the years, ended up going up the corporate ladder, and she was really high up in this corporation by now. They ended up having two children, a little girl and a little boy. So with Tara's new promotion at work, she was traveling a lot. She ended up traveling a lot within 4 years of them being together and having kids, and she wasn't home very often. This made Stephen be the stay-at-home mom, basically. So he was doing everything he could to help with his children while Tara was off at work, but she would come home on weekends. Well, eventually things started to get really rocky. Tara had just recently, 2 days ago, gotten back from one of her trips. She informed her husband that she had to leave a day earlier to go and travel again for work. The two ended up having a really big fight, and things just kind of escalated, and Tara needed to blow off some steam. While Stephen was being that stay-at-home mom to his now, in 2007, 6-year-old daughter and 4-year-old son, he was also still helping his father down at his shop. They also had an au pair who was 19 years old and from Germany, so she would help out whenever he wasn't at the house. So on February 14th, 2007 is when Stephen Grant ended up calling police to inform them of his wife's disappearance. He said that she's been missing and he doesn't know where she went. The two got in a fight. She got into a mysterious dark car. Well, she actually ended up going missing 5 days before Stephen finally called the police. According to Stephen, he said that night they got in a fight. She stormed out, she got into that mysterious dark car, and he didn't know where she went. And he called her multiple times. He never heard from her. He ended up calling her boss. Her boss said maybe she just needed to blow off some steam and that she would be back. Well, a few days later, she was supposed to be traveling for her job and she never showed up. So this is when people started to worry about where she went, and this is why Stephen ended up calling the police. So over the next 2 weeks, police said that Stephen was being very cooperative and he was seen all over media trying to help find his wife. He even took a polygraph test, and it wasn't administered by the police department, it was administered by another company. He ended up getting arrested due to his license being suspended, and he accused cops. The reason they arrested him was so that they could question him about Tara's disappearance. So the police ended up getting a search warrant to search Stephen Grant's home, and they never found anything. At this first search of his house, police noticed that he was very nervous. They said that he seemed to be cooperating a bit too much. It seemed a little suspicious. Well, like I said, they never found anything. However, on March 2nd, 2007, they ended up doing another search of the house, and while they were searching, Stephen again was being very cooperative, but since he wasn't detained, in the middle of them searching, he informed them that he needed to go take the family dog out for a walk. So, of course, they couldn't keep him there. They let him go. As he was gone, police were searching the house, and one of the officers found a bin, and he knew that it wasn't there previously, so he was like kind of concerned on what was in it. When he opened it up, it was a ton of plastic bags, and he started poking around, and he said, "This just doesn't seem right. There's something off." That is when they opened it up completely, and they found Tara's torso inside of this bin. At this point, Stephen Grant was now on the run. Stephen was finally found at 6 a.m. on Sunday in Emmett County, so they brought him back for questioning. However, he had to go to the hospital due to frostbite and hypothermia. So while he was in the hospital, they said he was being very cooperative, and they sent some police investigators to go search the area where he was found. And it turns out that they found multiple body parts of Tara scattered throughout this park. When Stephen was finally questioned, so much turned up. Police discovered that Stephen actually wasn't interested in being married to Tara anymore. He was looking for attention elsewhere. A few weeks before his wife went missing, he actually reached out to one of his ex-girlfriends through email, and they were messaging back and forth. And he was mocking his marriage with Tara. It was said that within these emails, he was telling his ex-girlfriend, who was now a nurse, that he wanted to see her naked and that he wanted her to practice a sponge bath on him. It was later also discovered that Stephen was also trying to get with the au pair. We don't know exactly what happened between the two, but we know that he did mention that he was trying to get with her sexually. Well, the company who helped hire the au pair ended up sending her back to Germany. And we finally found out the real story of what happened to Tara. That night she got back, her kids were already asleep. And that's when Tara and Stephen got in a big fight because Tara had to go and travel again a day earlier. And Stephen was not happy about this. He also thought that she was having an affair with somebody at her work. And this is what made him believe that it was okay for what he did. They ended up getting in this fight, and things started to get physical. They both hit each other, and Tara fell backwards and hit her head. And that's when she started telling Stephen that he is never going to see the kids again and she's leaving. Well, that's when Stephen snapped. He grabbed Tara by the neck and started strangling her. It took him 4 minutes until Tara's body became lifeless, while her children were sleeping in the next room. Stephen said he ended up getting a belt and putting it around her neck to try and get her out to her truck because her body was too heavy. He was able to get her body in the truck, and that's when the au pair arrived. And he nervously tried to play it off, that Tara left in the middle of the night and she was never coming back. He wanted the au pair to feel sorry for him. He ended up taking Tara's body to his father's shop when nobody was there and put her body on a tarp and dismembered her. He took her body parts to the park using his children's sled, and the sled ended up going down, and he tried to chase after it, and the body parts fell everywhere. Well, his idea was that he was going to hide the body parts throughout the park so that the wildlife animals could take care of them. And he thought, I can't leave the torso here because it's too big. So that's when he took the torso and put it in that bin in his garage. And that's why when they did the first search warrant, they didn't find anything. Just a day before they did the second search warrant was when he brought the body back. On December 1st, 2007, Stephen Grant was finally charged with murder in the second degree. He was sentenced to a minimum of 50 years in prison. So Tara's 2 young children ended up going and living with Tara's sister, Alicia. So on June 13th, 2008, Stephen's father, William, committed suicide. It was said that William never recovered from what his son did to his family, and he just couldn't live with it anymore. And that is the story of Tara Lynn Grant. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a very happy Valentine's Day, but until next time, bye guys.